The highly anticipated and much awaited fight between Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland is finally over at the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, Australia. The fight was incredible, and here's how the MMA pros have reacted to that.
Sean is usually really good at shutting people down. And like Izzy, when he fought Izzy felt like it looked like he couldn't get into a rhythm, and he was in his face, pressuring him the whole time. Feels like that was what Dricus did. I'll tell you something fascinating that I noticed tonight for the first time. I don't know why. See if you notice this. So Sean Strickland, the way that he acts leading up to fights, right? Normally when you have people who act the way that he acts, you see signs of it in a fight. Who is more focused, professional, and solid in a fight than he is? You know, when he gets hurt, no sticking out the tongue or no, that didn't hurt me, anything. The guy stays focused, keeps coming forward. There's never any hint of how he acts outside the octagon when he's in there. Absolute professional the whole time. It's actually fascinating. I don't know if I've ever seen that with a guy who acts the way he does leading up to fights.
It must just be his happy place or something.
Huh?
It must be his happy place.
I don't know. Or this is all, you know what I mean? I've never seen a guy so solid and professional. Gets his nose broke, snaps it back into place and keeps fighting. Gets hit with some nasty shots. When he gets hit with big shots, he doesn't start shaking his head and doing all the goofy things that people like that do. I mean, you can go into any combat sport and you've seen it. Nobody is more professional during the fight than this guy is. It's fascinating, actually.
Big fucker for 185 too. That's a big fucker.
I want to see that fight, though.
Man, they did a great job of setting up, throwing that low kick, switch kick to the body, kept that pace up for the entire 5.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That's going to be a different game.
Oh, yeah, that's a night when you get touched game.
Yeah, it's a very different game.
Yeah, you'll see he's using wrestling then. That fight wasn't close, fellas.
Nope.
Fight wasn't
He keeps
close.
getting better.
I mean, he's got his endurance. He can't even stop talking. Look at this guy.
I want to hear what Sean has to say.
Me too.
I hope he doesn't bring up the staff. You can't, right?
Can't
You got to
do
talk
that.
about
I
that
hate when
tomorrow.
fighters
Too
do
soon.
that. I hate when fighters do that. That's when they say too soon.
Yeah, talk about that tomorrow. Maybe DC asks him. I would definitely ask him. Was that staff? Were you on antibiotics? That would have been probably my first questions.
If you ask it, it's fine. If he's like, yeah,
I would have said,
staff.
was there anything surprising
But
about
I'd
this
go
fight?
deal with staff, but that's not the reason I lost. All credit to DDP.
Right.
Let the fans talk for you.
But is that staff?
Start with the main event. I said it multiple times. I did not want to see this fight. I didn't think it was warranted. Sean Strickland did not successfully defend his title a single time. He lost a fight to DDP, which was close, fair and square, 13 months ago. And then he came back and won, a solid but somewhat unspectacular fight against Paulo Costa back in June, and that was it. I wanted to see the Khamzat fight. I wanted to see it right away. I didn't think this was necessary, and Sean did nothing in this fight to make us think that he was going to win at any point. As his coach, Eric Nixick, said, and credit to Eric, he was very honest. He was very brutal. He was very forthright. Each and every time they went to him in between the rounds, it was all very predictable. It was ones and twos. He was plotting forward. He was hardly throwing any kicks. He was hardly mixing it up. There were very few combinations. That was not a fun fight to watch. It was not a entertaining title fight, but I don't really blame DDP. DDP on his worst day is somewhat entertaining because he's just so kind of unorthodox and awkward. He was doing everything he could to bring the fight to Sean, but there was no real reason for him to take any risks because Sean was doing absolutely nothing. Plodding forward, ones and twos, no takedown attempts. Not even the threat of a takedown was presented to DDP. And in the end, I had it 5-0. I don't know what that one judge saw, 49-46, who cares? DDP appeared to have broken his nose in the 4th round, not his nose, Sean's nose in the 4th round, gushing blood, pouring down, and he wins the fight. And at the end, he says, is there no one else? And apparently was looking at Alex Pereira. The fight to make is obviously Khamzat Chimaev. That is the fight. And we'll get to the co-main event in a moment, but it does feel like there are a lot of similarities between Khamzat and Tatiana Suarez, two fighters that we've been waiting for them to finally get a title shot. We'll get to Tatiana, but this is the fight to make. It's Khamzat Chimaev versus DDP. There was a lot of talk about, obviously, DDP and Sean Strickland and Khamzat all week long, but that's the fight to make. I'm intrigued. I'd love to see it. I'd love to know, they got it wrong as far as the co-main is concerned. I'd love to know who the favorite would be going into that one, because right now, I'm not sure. DDP, by the way, GC, 9 in a row, and has slowly but surely put together one of the all-time great runs at 185 pounds. It's extremely impressive. You got to give him his flowers.
On the mic at the end, you took it and walked straight at Alex Pereira. It seemed like you sent a message to him. There was something online that he challenged you to come up to 205, and you said, deal. Is that true? What happened backstage?
Yeah. He came up and he said, did you challenge me? And I was like, I did the whole show. I did the whole movie scene and everything. And you're like, did you challenge me? That's kind of, that's anticlimactic, but sure, yes. And I said, yeah, I did challenge you. But I did, I have the world's respect for Alex Pereira. I think he is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. I have the most respect for him, what he's done in a short period of time in the UFC, to come from another sport, what he's done there. But yes, I want to share the octagon with that man. I want to be a guy. I've beaten Adesanya. Who's beaten him? I know I can beat him. And at 205, 100%.
So Dana was also in here, and he said, that possible fight against you and Khamzat would also be pretty massive at this point. So if it were up to you and he came to...
No, Khamzat's first.
Khamzat's first?
Khamzat's first. No, I wish him... I said, please beat Uncle Live. No hate against Uncle Live. I just want to beat Alex Pereira. It's nothing personal against Uncle Live. It was just... Pereira, he's such a legend in the sport to me already, that it would be amazing to beat him for my legacy. I want to be the greatest to ever do this. But Khamzat's next. Khamzat is next. I want to make sure that this belt, the middleweight title, that there's no question that I'm the guy.
Joe Rogan wanted Sean Strickland to beat Dricus du Plessis at UFC 312. Joe thought that Strickland won the first fight between these two, but the judges declared du Plessis as the winner.
I want him to lose so bad. I'm gonna watch every fight he's in.
So him and Sean Strickland, the rematch is gonna be very interesting, because I thought Sean won the first fight. I thought it was real close, but I thought Sean
I think
won.
Sean beats him in the rematch.
Really?
I think not only does he beat him, I think he's gonna beat him bad.
Then you go Sean Izzy too. I'm happy with that.
You can't.
Why not?
Michael Venom Page also shared his verdict on that rematch between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. Michael, who recently defeated Shara Magomedov at the fight night on 1st February, was hoping that this rematch would be an easy one. He called Sean Strickland an awkward fighter because of his unique style. He believed that it wouldn't be easy for du Plessis to take down Strickland.
Again, I feel middleweight's in a similar place to actually the welterweight division at the moment, where things can move quite easy. Strickland is a very awkward fighter because he just walks forward. He's happy to kind of take a shot, and he's hard to hit. Similar to myself, but in a very different way because of his Philly shell style, which you don't really see in MMA. It's very hard to kind of land something clean but at the same time, he's very good at wrestling. It's going to be very hard to take him down and keep him down. So again, it's a great fight to.
Michael Venom said that this would be a very interesting battle to watch. He further shared his thoughts about the champion Dricus du Plessis, as he doesn't see anything special in him. However, he was amazed to see how the du Plessis still managed to win every time. Michael Page believed that there was not much competition in the middleweight division and is wide open for everybody.
To watch. So I think that it may even move hands again, but for some reason, because it's weird, like when I look at DDP, I've never looked at him and thought anything special of him, but he always seems to just win. One thing he just knows how to do is scrape out the win, regardless of how he performs, because I've seen him do some technically really bad things during the fight. But still, like I said, he just knows how to, he's just a tough guy. He just knows how to grind out the result. So again, you can never put him down. But yeah, I feel like the middleweight division is wide open for everybody.
Furthermore, Michael said that Dricus would be once again the favorite to win this bout. He added that no matter how close their last fight was, du Plessis had the talent to win fights in tough situations.
I think DDP is the favorite going into the fight. Do you think that's the right call there, or do you think Strickland should be favored? Because some people felt like he won the last fight.
Yeah, of course it was a exceptionally close last fight. But the fact is, DDP is a champion. You know, he's beaten Izzy in the last one as well. You have to rate him for that. Regardless of how close the fights are, he's the one that keeps getting the result in the end. So I understand why you'd peg him as the favorite.
Meanwhile, the UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier was also backing Strickland to win that fight. The former UFC champion called Strickland a beast and thought that after such a close first fight, Strickland should claim the title this time around. Cormier looked excited to see them inside the cage and was hoping for a great fight. Daniel Cormier said, "Sean Strickland is a monster too. They had a very close fight last time. These guys are gonna battle for the middleweight championship. That's a fun fight. It was very fun last time. I wonder who's gonna make that adjustment." However, former flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson thought Dricus du Plessis would retain his title at UFC 312. Demetrius backed du Plessis to beat Sean Strickland once again. The Mighty Mouse thought that the middleweight champion had the best and unique style to defend his title. He believed that it would be difficult for Sean Strickland to take down du Plessis, and the result of this rematch would be similar to their first encounter.
But I think DDP has that right style to deal with that, because he is going to put up that high guard and he is going to see those shots coming and he's going to get welted up. You know, he might bruise easily and get a mouse over his eye, but at the same time, I think he's fought him before and he's experienced it, and it's not like it's going to be something totally new. He knows what to expect. And so for that, I'm going to go with DDP. So
Khamzat Chimaev, who is among the strongest contenders for the middleweight championship, thought that du Plessis would stay the champion after UFC 312. With his belt on the line, Khamzat believed that du Plessis would give more than his 100% in this fight to stay the champion. Moreover, Khamzat accused Strickland of caring only about money.
I think now it's going good for du Plessis. I think he's more motivated, getting more money, and he's happy with that. So he will fight for his belt. So I think I go a little bit for that. Sean being there, and I don't think so he care about he wins, he lost, you know. So he just fights and have money.
The former UFC heavyweight contender Jairzinho Rozenstruik believed du Plessis would win this fight. Jairzinho said that the first encounter between these fighters was a close one and was expecting something similar again. He knew that Dricus du Plessis would be able to defend his title in yet another close fight. Jairzinho Rozenstruik said the first fight was very close, but I think Dricus du Plessis wins again. I think it will be close again, but I think DDP will keep the belt in another close fight. Moreover, Tim Welch seemed excited about this fight. He praised the style and dedication of Dricus du Plessis. The coach of Sean O'Malley thought that the middleweight champion didn't have a special skill, but he still managed to get away with everything. Welch felt that du Plessis mostly looked on the back foot in the beginning, but he completely changed his game in the final rounds and has the ability to turn the fight completely in those rounds.
Man, it's so weird that Dricus gets away with what he does. He's such, his rhythm is so like blocky and robotic, and if you watch his footwork, if you watch his chin floats up, he just doesn't do anything on paper that's right, but he gets away with it. He's so explosive. He's such a strong, good athlete, and you saw Sean Strickland saying, hey, let's figure this out like men. Let's stand toe to toe. So Dricus, in the second round, in the third round, it'll look like he's completely fatigued and he's taking big gasps of wind. And usually when people start to do that, it starts to go downhill. But give him about 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and he just turns it back up. He ramps it back up.
Tim Welch picked Dricus du Plessis to defend his title by beating Sean Strickland in their rematch. Welch thought that the style of both fighters would decide the outcome of their fight, and according to him, Dricus du Plessis had the better style. Welch was excited for this clash and also shared a little advice for Strickland, but overall he was confident that Dricus du Plessis would emerge victorious on February 8th.
I think Dricus might get it done again. I think he's going to get the takedowns. I don't think he'll be able to hold Sean Strickland down, but I do think the way Sean Strickland stands up so tall, it makes it easier for Dricus to blitz in with his punches and blitz in with his takedowns. It's almost like Sean Strickland would have to just change his stance up a little bit, just lower his level, widen his stance out a little bit more athletic, so you could shut down those shots. So I mean, I'm excited for the fight, but I do think Dricus might get it done by decision.
The UFC light heavyweight fighter Modestas Bukauskas also picked the current champion to defend his title at UFC 312. Bukauskas thought du Plessis would once again win his fight via a decision. Modestas Bukauskas said, "I think Dricus will win a decision again. He mixes his striking and wrestling well and is too well-rounded for Strickland." Meanwhile, the welterweight fighter Adam Fugit admitted that he always went against du Plessis, but he always managed to prove him wrong with his skills and pace. Adam had confidence in the striking and pace of Dricus du Plessis, and that's why he picked him to register yet another victory at UFC 312.
You know, I keep going against du Plessis, and I think I'm one of those guys that has to just stop, because every time I think he's gonna falter, he comes in there and he grabs another gear. He uses his gas tank on folks and really pushes that pace, and you know, he obviously freaking hits hard too, you know, so I'm gonna go with du Plessis.
Similarly, the UFC middleweight fighter Andre Petroski also backed Dricus du Plessis to emerge victorious at UFC 312. Petroski claimed that he doesn't like the style of the South African star. However, Andre admitted that the grappling of du Plessis needs to be praised more because it is his secret weapon that he uses to win his fights.
I'll go with du Plessis. Yeah. Although, like, I hate his style, I do think his grappling is a little underrated. I think he might be able to get some grappling in on Strickland.
The UFC bantamweight fighter Vince Morales thought that the outcome of the rematch between Strickland and du Plessis would be similar to their first encounter. Vince has predicted a victory for du Plessis via decision, but he believed that the fight would be a close one. Vince Morales stated, "Dricus by decision again. The first fight was super close. I just think du Plessis has the wrestling advantage and knows he can go 5 rounds, which will help him here." The UFC featherweight fighter Steve Garcia was confident that Sean Strickland won the first match between these two, and that's why he was backing him to get the victory at UFC 312. Steve Garcia said, "I'm going with Strickland by decision. I thought he won the first fight and will get the win here." Moreover, the former UFC champion Jamahal Hill said that he was also one of those who initially thought that Strickland won their previous fight. However, after rewatching it, he admitted that du Plessis deservedly won. Jamahal knew that their rematch was also going to be a close one, but he was reluctant to pick the winner among the two.
Well, I thought Strickland won the first fight originally, but after going back and watching it and seeing, I could see where Dricus won the fight. And I could also see certain things where Dricus was figuring out to where he was able to give Sean problems. I believe Dricus and his team are cerebral, and they try to make adjustments and things like that. So I believe they will adjust to the success that they had and things of that nature in the fight. We're gonna see how well Sean can make adjustments and come in and maybe change things up a little bit. But honestly, I don't know. That last fight was really close.
Additionally, the UFC welterweight fighter Billy Goff was also among the supporters of Dricus du Plessis. He believed that the South African would improve his style as compared to their first encounter and would make adjustments to register another thumping win.
Du Plessis, I think du Plessis will win that. I think du Plessis will make the adjustments to Sean Strickland that you can argue that he lost that fight. I think he'll make the adjustments against Sean Strickland to do better in fight, whereas I think Sean Strickland's going to come in like, oh, I won the last fight, I'm going to go out there and do it again.
On the contrary, Jamal Pogues backed his friend Sean Strickland to get his revenge at UFC 312. He thought that Strickland deserved to get back his title. Jamal praised the personality of Strickland both inside and outside the cage, and he believed that Strickland would claim the victory against Dricus du Plessis.
Listen, I gotta go with Sean Strickland. That's my guy. I've been knowing him for the last 10 years. You know, you can tell he's definitely matured from winning the belt. Like, I know everybody talks shit about him, but Sean Strickland's a great, he's one of the nicest people in the world, man. And you can definitely see a change in his demeanor, the way he talks. Even some of the talks that we have, you know, it's quick and it's short. And I love where he is mentally, not just in fighting, but where he is in life. Where he is in life right now in his head, I love it. So I'm going with Dricus. Strickland, sorry. Strickland.
The UFC lightweight fighter Cody Steele also had a bit similar thought, but he was hoping for a close fight. Cody felt that Strickland would claim the victory after a hard-fought encounter. Cody Steele said, "That one is going to be tough, but I felt like every round was 50-50 in the first fight. I'll go with Strickland this time." The UFC lightweight fighter Nazim Sadikov acknowledged the performance of du Plessis in recent times. He thought that du Plessis was in his prime, and it would be very hard for anyone to defeat him. According to Nazim, only Khamzat Chimaev could beat du Plessis at the moment in the middleweight division.
Every time I see this Sean's too sharp for him, this and that, it's like Dricus comes down and finds ways to win. I just think he's in his prime right now. He's an incredible athlete. He's not the prettiest looking. Everybody's criticized like how he's sloppy or whatever it may be, but he makes it work, man. He's a specimen. He's really like a brick house. I think he's gonna get the job done again. Just strictly from activity. I don't think it's because he can outbox Strickland or he can, you know, beat Strickland on the feet. I think he's going to wrestle Strickland a lot. I think he's going to take away a lot of rounds with control time and all that stuff. And I think in the flurries, I think like Strickland is going to have some dangerous moments. But I think du Plessis is going to be able to get the job done again. I just think he's in his prime. I think it's going to be very hard to beat him, unless your name is Khamzat Chimaev.
Meanwhile, Grant Dawson picked du Plessis to win at UFC 312, but the lightweight fighter was shocked at how du Plessis managed to win every time despite having such a poor style. Dawson couldn't believe that with such an awkward technique, how the Proteas fighter kept winning fights and becoming the champion. Dawson is amazed with this talent of du Plessis, and that's why he has again picked him to defend his title against Strickland.
I gotta take DDP, and I think he's the worst fighter in the UFC, and he's the champion. He's so dang bad, but I can't, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you understand what I'm saying. Like, he's terrible. He's awful. You would not sit somebody, I'm a big film study guy, especially for younger guys. If you're a pup coming up in this sport, I tell people, other than being in the gym, the fastest way to get good at this sport is to watch film. And then I always say, but don't watch DDP, he sucks. And they're like, well, he's the champion. I was like, yeah, he's terrible. You see what I'm saying? But I'm picking him. He's a winner, man. I'm picking DDP.
Davey Grant, who competes in the UFC bantamweight division, was hoping Sean Strickland to beat du Plessis at UFC 312. He also believed that Strickland won the previous fight, and this time he should get the title by taking his revenge against the South African. Davey Grant said, "I'm going with Strickland. I thought he won the first one, and I think he can keep it standing and land more shots to win a decision." Terrence McKinney was another fighter who was confident that Strickland should have been declared the winner of his first fight with du Plessis. The UFC lightweight fighter predicted the victory of Strickland via decision. Terrence McKinney predicted, "Sean Strickland by decision. I thought he won the first fight." Furthermore, Eric Nixick explained the adjustments that both fighters required in their rematch. Eric shared valuable advice for both fighters to stay positive because it would help them to avoid making lame excuses after their defeat.
No, there's quite a few things, I think, and here's the thing, is stop feeling sorry for yourself, meaning us, that the narrative of like, oh, we were robbed or we won this or whatever. The fight's over. DDP has now won the belt and has now defended the belt. So it's almost like a clean, fresh slate, and we have to go out there and try to execute a game plan to go unseat the champion. That's the way I look at it.
Eric Nixick rejected all the claims related to the result of their first encounter and said that Du Plessis was the clear winner there. He said that if the judges were saying it is fine, then everyone should respect their decision. Eric acknowledged DDP for his brilliant performance and unique style.
The bottom line is he did enough. The judges felt, the people that matter felt he did enough. There's some really good things that we did in that fight that we can add on to. And there's some things that I feel like we got away from that we need to try to implement more of. So, and I also know DDP pretty well. And I know he's going to come up with something new and something fresh and something creative that's going to throw a wrench in everything or do something that we're going to have to make some adjustments on. So I can't wait.
The former UFC champion, Anthony Pettis, acknowledged the hard work of Sean Strickland. He thought that Strickland would win the fight against Dricus du Plessis. Anthony Pettis said, "I like Sean Strickland, bro. He is a gangster, bro. Even though he is like on social media and steering up, I see him training. That dude is sparring every day like it's a fight, and just gotta respect that. Like, you know, his work ethic is why he is where he's at." However, the UFC flyweight fighter, Jose Johnson, also had the same views about the style of Dricus du Plessis. He said that despite having that ugly style, Dricus knows how to win fights, and he would do the same thing again.
Man, so Du Plessis he's grown on me. I think he's got an ugly striking game. He's got an ugly style, period. But it's like he somehow finds a way all the time. Like, and he's got relentless cardio. Like, mad respect to that guy, and I would love to see him pull out that win.
Do you think he wins though?
Yes.
The former UFC champion, Jan Blachowicz, found it hard to decide between these two skilled fighters. According to Blachowicz, Du Plessis had great power and potential to beat anyone. He believed that the South African fighter was in great touch, and winning his fights would give him extra confidence to get the job done once again. Jan Blachowicz said, "It's hard, you know, because Strickland now he caught something, you know. He looks very good in his last fight, so 50-50, but I think Dricus will be a little bit better, you know, and he is going to win." On the other hand, the bantam fighter Corey Sandhagen had a different opinion as he picked Sean Strickland to surprise everyone. He thought that Strickland would come back to his old form and show his power to win this bout. Sandhagen liked the style and striking of Strickland and was confident that he would claim the middleweight title at UFC 312. Corey Sandhagen said, "I think Strickland will probably win that one. He is just too unorthodox for people to be able to prepare for, so I am going to go with Strickland." Well, these were the reactions of the pros of the sports, but we would like to know about your views on that fight, so share your thoughts in the comments section and give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get instant notifications about our latest videos.